Hello, thank you for tuning into this 2023 Primary Election Candidate Forum for the Port of Olympia, District 1. This forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County in collaboration with Thurston Community Media. The League of Women Voters is proud to be a nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government, but always working on vital issues of concern to members and the public to defend our democracy and to empower voters. I am Valerie Needham from the League, and I will be moderating this forum. James Allen will be our timer. This forum is for the candidates running for the Port of Olympia Commissioner District 1. The candidates participating in this forum are Bill McGregor and Skye Campbell-Ragsdale. All candidates were invited, and Jasmine Vasavada is not able to attend. The League stresses the importance of civility in our forums. By participating in this forum, you agree to accept the ground rules we provide. For this forum, each candidate will have the opportunity to answer a series of questions in reverse alphabetical order, and the questions will be alternated so that each has the chance to start first. You will also be able to give a 1-minute closing statement. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond. If you need me to repeat the question, don't hesitate to ask. The timer will turn yellow when you have 15 seconds left, and then will show a stop sign when your time is up. If you don't notice the sign, I will tell you when your time is up. For the first question, I will begin with Skye Ragsdale. Question 1. What makes you the most qualified candidate for this position?
My undying passion for this community. I was born and raised in Olympia. I graduated high school here. I even briefly attended the Evergreen State College. My parents still live here. I am so invested and so in love with this part of the world. I want to do my absolute best to help make it the most beautiful community it can be, and to help serve those who perhaps have been shoved to the margins a bit more. I want to work with our community to bring them in and support them in the ways that we can.
Okay.
Is there a rule that says I have to take the full time?
Nope, you are okay. Thank you, Skye. We appreciate that. And the same question to you, Bill McGregor.
Well, thank you. First, I want to thank you, Valerie, and the Thurston
League. Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
And the League of Women Voters for taking time out of their weekend to provide a venue for all of the candidates to perform that are in the primary coming up. So thank you for that. I have been in the port industry for 27 years as a staff person, Port of Tacoma, Port of Olympia, Port of Grays Harbor, retired, came back to Olympia, got invested in working at St. Martin's, and then found an opening to be appointed to the Port of Olympia Commissioners. And I was done so by the other two commissioners, and then I've ran successfully for the last 14, 15 years, various election cycles. And now I am in a different district, and so I'm looking forward to getting back on the commission to provide the expertise and historical perspectives that are available. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. This next question, we will start with you, Bill. What are your views on the proposed master plan update of the Olympia Regional Airport in Tumwater?
Well, my view is that we are required by FAA to do an update on the airport because it is under FAA control every 10 years. And I was involved with the last one that was done in about 2012, 2013, and understand that these are projections moving forward on what the airport can do, how it can grow, how many landings and takeoffs can happen. And of course, even in the 2013 projections, they were never met because there just wasn't the air viability for any kind of general aviation. And so hopefully we're going to see some growth there, but I don't think we're going to see the type of growth that is being proposed in the current updated version. And but I'm excited to see what happens because it's all helped out through aid of government funding from the FAA.
Thank you, Bill. And the same question to you, Skye.
Can I hear the question one more time,
Yes. Please? What are your views on the proposed master plan update of the Olympia Regional Airport in Tumwater?
Excellent. So I definitely think that we need to maintain our local control over that area. I know that the FAA is, of course, involved. But we need to be careful when working with larger government entities that they don't have the opportunity to come in and take over. I like local involvement being a high priority. I also used to work over by the airport. It's still a remarkably beautiful area. If we expand too much, that will hurt the farms that are over there, the businesses, and the people that live over there, as well as the habitats in the surrounding areas. So I'm not opposed to some expansion as a concept, but I think we need to be very, very careful to check with local environmental agencies, of course, and then the people that are in that area.
Thank you, Skye. For the third question, I will begin with Skye. How can the port bring more economic development to Thurston County while balancing climate and environmental demands?
I love that question because that's actually very important to me. I think it's time to start looking at how we can start contacting greener businesses. I know that we've worked with larger corporate entities, but for example, there's the Swire Coca-Cola development. There are other bottling companies, even other, New Belgium, for example, they are committed to greener practices, more of a triple bottom line. They're a certified B Corp. So if we courted more businesses like those, that would bring in better economic dollars that are going to still maintain our beautiful landscape that we have here. And then investing in things like green energy, in particular solar. The sun's got another 5 billion years, we might as well use them.
Thank you, Skye. And the same question to you, Bill.
Yeah, one of my priorities has always been sustainable economic development. And by that I mean there are opportunities out there such as Swire Coke development that has already been approved, at least preliminary by the Port Commission. Now it's in the hands of development through Tumwater, through their city council and their codes. And I'm always thinking about how can we do this so that it's a balance. So the environment wins, we win, and I say we, the residents of Thurston County get family wage jobs. There are many things we can do, and the Capital Little League is a prime example of a sustainable economic development opportunity. And I am prepared to come up with a solution for their issue, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to get back on the commission so that I can then be a leader in trying to bring sustainable economic opportunities to the port and to the citizens of Thurston County.
Thank you, Bill. The fourth question will go first to Bill. What do you think of the role of the port should be in the planned removal of the Fifth Avenue Dam and the conversion of Capitol Lake into an estuary?
Well, that's quite a question for a minute to answer. You know, I never took a stand on one way or the other on whether it should stay a lake or whether it should be an estuary. I always, my comment was always, well, let's see what the science shows. And according to what I understand, having spent several years on CLAMP, the Capitol Lake Adaptive Management Plan, as well as being part of the executive group that was meeting on the current plan for before I was out of office, and I let the science tell us what it needs to be. And according to what I'm reading, DES has made that decision, and I think we need to get behind it because we want to make sure that we protect the recreational boating activities that occur south of the, north of the dam, because those marinas and opportunities that are there need to be sustained and kept active to keep the funding coming into tourism dollars and those dollars that can come from the outside.
Thank you, Bill. And the same question to you, Skye.
I think it's a really interesting opportunity for Olympia. I personally support estuary, would that be redevelopment, putting it back? Either way, I think it's important that we work with the Department of Ecology and whatever EPA regulations we need to follow. I love the environment, I'm very, very strong on it, but we also need to make sure that the local communities in that area understand the impacts and are going to be okay with whatever steps are taken. Personally, I think there's a lot of opportunity for our waterfront area that's not necessarily specifically a port function. If you look at Port Townsend, for example, they survived the 2009 recession and a global pandemic, and it's because how beautiful their waterfront is. We could do something similar, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Skye. The fifth question first goes to Skye. How would you describe the role of the Port Commissioners in supervising the Port's Executive Director, and what steps can the Commission take to increase staff retention?
That's a very good question, especially because turnover is expensive for any business, and a business that is a government entity is being funded by taxpayer dollars, so that turnover is expensive for us, so that's definitely something I want to look at. I think more businesses and workplaces in general could benefit from conflict resolution training and conflict management. If no one else, having human resources specifically trained in those areas would do a lot to create better workplace environments. And then specifically for the port, I think taking the opportunity to listen to employees, perhaps in private before going into a public forum, an investigation into their concerns. I believe that a healthy workplace creates more productive employees. So whatever we can do to support those on the ground floor is what we should be doing.
Thank you. And the same question to you, Bill.
Sure, thank you. The Port Commissioners, although there are 3 of them this time around, we're expanding to 5. They have 1 employee, and that is the Executive Director. And the health of the organization is of paramount importance to all of us as staff person, as a commissioner, as a citizen of the community. And there has been a lot of turnover there. We need to really get into it. I have not been privy with the number of executive sessions that have gone on since I left office on what all the discussions have been, but I think that when I left office, it was pretty healthy. It was pretty manageable, and I think that staff would respond in many different ways, where I think now they're kind of feeling that they're not being heard, and I continue to wonder why it has taken almost 15, 16 months for a 47B union contract to get resolved, and we have a skeleton contract basically in place for 47A, which are also port employees.
Thank you. Okay, the 6th and final question, we will start with Bill. What are your general views on the port's budget and revenue sources?
Well, budgets are always, that's one thing that the commissioners approve is the budget every year, and looking at tax dollars and how do we improve our overall basis. And when I looked at the last report, it looked like the port had about $17 million in reserves put aside. There are some issues coming up here in 2026, such as a bond that needs to be repaid. And I haven't really dug into it too much, but it looks like all of the lines of business are making a profit by paying for their revenue is paying for their expenses. Now, when you throw depreciation in there, that's always a contentious item because depreciation is the supposed life cycle of all those infrastructure improvements you've made. And so when you throw those in there, it throws it into a loss. And although that's just on paper, but we've had to get $17 million built up in our bank account somehow. And when you look about 5 years ago, it was about $4 million. So I think they're doing a good job on that.
Thank you, Bill. And the same
One more time, please.
Yes. The question is, what are your general views on the port's budget and revenue sources?
Excellent. I think this is another opportunity, like I mentioned earlier, for investing in green revenue streams. I know that logging is a huge part of our culture and our background. Washington was started as a logging colony, and we've worked our way from there to here. We now are looking a lot more at environmental changes. So I'm curious if the port could switch those revenue streams, look for more green projects to invest in, things that long-term will not destroy the environment while still bringing in those economic dollars. And I think tourism could also be a big part of that. If we did a waterfront park, created an esplanade, something that people want to spend lots of time at, the more time you spend downtown, the more likely you're going to be spending dollars at our local shops and then telling your friends, and we get people from out of town and bring in those tourism dollars as well.
Thank you, Skye. You now will each have 1 minute for a closing statement, and we will go ahead and start with Skye.
Thank you. I think I'd prefer a closing question, which is, what do you want? We are public servants. We are here to serve the people. A big part of what I want to do for the port is increase community outreach. I think we could be doing a lot more to inform the community what our job even is, what we're doing, how we're helping. but also getting that feedback of what do the people of Olympia, what do the people of Thurston County want their Port Commission doing for them, and how can we facilitate that? I don't think we need to view money as the only form of value. Economy is important, people's jobs are important, and I want to keep maintaining those and building those where we can. But there are other forms of value that we can offer. For example, having beautiful places to spend with our children and our grandchildren and our friends and our pets. And maintaining those is really, really important. So I want to know how you want me to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Skye. And your closing statement, Bill?
Thank you. Well, I want to again thank you for having this forum. I think it's important people hear the views of all the candidates. And all I want to say is that, I've been a part of developing a lot of development down in the port area, out at the airport. We have the Hands-On Children's Museum where it is because I was on the commission when it approved the sale of that to the city of Olympia to create this wonderful educational toy for kids to come down and feel, work, do all the things they do in there. It's amazing. I've been a proponent of green energy. We have put in solar panels on the warehouses so it's neutral and actually feeding back into the grid. We put solar panels out in Newmarket Skills Center when we did that parking lot. All these things cost extra money, but I think it's worth the investment over the long term. So if you want to continue to have those things happen in development, please remember to vote for me come the primary. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Skye Campbell-Ragsdale and Bill McGregor, for participating in this forum. We thank Thurston Community Media for producing it and airing it. We encourage our viewers to be a voter in the primary election beginning July 14th through primary election day, August 1st of 2023.